Okay, here a video on making you aware that the new version of inkstitch has been released. And if you go to their homepage, then you can see here on July the 8th, 2022, inkstitch version 2.2.0 is being released. And so to download it, you go to the install inkstitch, and then you go and select your operating system. I'm on a Windows operating system, so I go to the Windows, and then all you need to do is go here to the download inkstitch, and it will download, and then just double click on your on your execution file, and it will, if you had the 2.1.2 installed, it will automatically delete that one and reinstall the new version. So, and if I go there, as you can see, it will just download here, and then click it, and if you get this one popped up, you may also get your antivirus maybe block it. That is a possibility. So it would be recommended maybe turn off your antivirus beforehand. But if you get this window pop up, click on the more info and then just click on run anyway. I just installed it already, so if I click on my run anyway, it will tell me that it has been installed already. But I'll cancel out of this, and it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. And I'll go and exit setup, yes. So I'll go out of here and I'll go into Inkscape. I also have the newest Inkscape, and then in the extensions folder we can go to Inkstitch, and we go to the about, and then we can see that the new version has been installed. In this new version there are lots of new features. I still have to explore some of them too yet, since I just downloaded it just now. So I had a little bit of a preview on a few things, and it is really interesting features what are in there. A lot more fonts. If you go to extension and Inkstitch, and we go for the lettering, and then we can see we have a lot of fonts what are now. Let me see if I can make the window a little bigger. No, it won't let me. But here you can see all the fonts. Play with these fonts, but watch that you stay within the parameters of the recommended size. And you can also find a lot of information on the Inkstitch webpage on the recommended sizes. And here it says it's about 20 mil. And so yeah, if you go and scale it, scaling up and scaling down, you want to stay within those parameters, because if you go outside of the parameters, you may end up with issues of proper stitching out. So play with it and see which fonts you like. And there are some of them, they are just awesome, and all of them are awesome, but you have to use them within the right params. Okay, so I'll go and cancel out of there. Also, what we have, if I go and just click a shape, and depends, so I have a rectangle and I'll give it a fill, and I'm gonna go extension, inkstitch params, and there you can see we have now, we're getting here different options. We can also go here with a ripple, and that becomes really interesting. If I go and cancel out of here, your ripple, that has to do with your outline. So if I turn off the fill here for a moment, and now I go back to the extension, inkstitch params, and now we go to the ripple, and as you can see, we're getting now, oh, that's not what I wanted. I just want it over there. Now in this window we have more options, and we get here number of lines that is set at 10, and that means how many lines it will create within that shape. So if I go and change that now to 20, as you can see, now it is creating 20 lines in the shape of the shape that was created. And here you can go skip the first line, and or you can go and skip last line. If I go there, enter a number, and now you will see it is creating all the lines, but it skipped the last 5, so we get an open space in the center. So there's a possibility, and that is the same with skipping the first line, then it will skip the outside line. Also, the running stitch tolerance, that number, if that number gets changed, that will depend a little bit on the size of your shape, but I will go and change that to a fairly high number, and then you can see that the corners, these corners, they start becoming rounded. As you can see here, every corner seems to be fairly square, but now I'm gonna go and change that to 50, and now you can see we're getting rounded corners. And if that number gets lower, I'll put it at 30. Now you can see the outside corners are square, but as we're going further toward the inside, they become more rounded again. So play with these numbers, and there's all kinds of possibilities. So play with the numbers on a screen with a shape, and see what happens on your simulator, on what kind of result you're gonna get. Okay, that is that up. Let's see. So the commands, I presume the commands is, I should go and close this. I should give it a fill, then I may get, that's the stroke, and give it a fill, and now the extensions, inkstitch commands. So we can add layer commands, attach commands to selected objects, and that probably is about the same. we have now there are a few more commands in here, and that is because of the auto route running stitch, and we can change the start point and the end point for the auto route running stitch. So that is something we have to play with too yet to find out how do we get the nicest results. So I'll close out of here. That is what is new in there. Inkstitch cut work segmentation. I haven't played with that one yet, so I don't know exactly the results in that, but I'll look into that too. But we can go and check it out. There you can see we're getting all kinds of numbers here. So we'll have to live preview. Okay, now I know what this is. This is, yeah, it doesn't want to zoom in really good on me here. But basically what this is, you can cut your outer edge into multiple segments, and it will, maybe I can, no, I cannot zoom in, and then I can set here the colors. So the start point, no, how shall I explain this? The outline is being cut into four sections. And so the start point and the end point I can change, and it should change. It's hard to see on the screen, but it will start cutting up the section into different sections, and the colors I can change here the colors. And there you can see it changed the color there. So now it is, if I go there, select. So what it does, it changes the outline of a shape into four segments with a different color selected, and you can set with these sliders, you can set where it's gonna start and where it's gonna end. As you can see, now it changed because the one is overlapping on the other one. So that takes some playing around with, and if I go and I'll close out of here, we'll get back to that later. But that is the cut work segment. Then we go to the extensions again, and inkstitch. Let's see, what else do we have? Well, the font management, that was in there already. Edit, we can go duplicate the params from one object to another one. Restack the objects in order of selection, so we can have multi. I'll show that for a moment too. I'll create there a star and another star, another star, and a circle, and a rectangle. So if you have multiple objects, and if we want to have them in the objects panel, in the objects panel, there we can see what kind of objects we have. That is the last one created, and that one is the third one. But now we want to have everything shown in a certain order. We can go select the first one, and now we can go with the shift key, hold the shift key down, and we can go and select all the other pieces. And once we have them all selected, then we can go extension, inkstitch, in edit, and then to restack objects in order of selection. And now Inkscape will reorganize the objects in the objects panel, and now they are selected and stacked in the order that we want to show them out. So that can be done. Then we go extension, inkstitch, edit. So there you have a selection to guideline. So if you need more guidelines, let me take the star, select that one, inkstitch, edit, selection to guideline. Oh, that is a little different than what I had anticipated. So that needs a little further investigation on what the effect of that is. I'll go and edit, undo. If we select it again, extension, inkstitch, edit, and now we can go selection to pattern. That was in the previous one already too, I'm pretty sure. So that is for creating certain stitch patterns. So, and we can use that for putting the one pattern on top of another object to create a certain stitch effect. So then we can go to the params. Well, we went in there already, so play with those settings in the params, in the preference window. So here you can, that is the same as before. And then we go extension, inkstitch, the thread color management. So you can apply thread list. We can now, in this new version, we can also generate our own palettes. It was possible to create your own palettes with the previous one too, but that took a little more effort. It becomes easier as we go. And there are little video clips available on the Inkstitch webpage, but I'll create one of these days one concerning how to do this also. You can install custom palettes, install thread color palette for Inkscape, and palette to text. So there's a bunch of options what are available for whoever likes it. Tools, the fill, the break apart fill objects, that is the same as before. Tools, satin, the outer route satin columns, that is the same. Convert line to satin, the same. You can convert your satin to a stroke, and you can cut your satin column and flip the satin columns. That is all kind of the same. But now we have here, we have a new tool, and that is the strokes. We can go now an outer out running stitch. And where is the... Oh, I thought that I had seen that there is an option for where to set the outer route start point and the outer route end point, but I don't see that underneath the stroke tool here. So I need to look into that. Like with the satin columns, we can kind of set the start point and end point, but I thought it was available for the stroke also, but I don't see it listed underneath the stroke tool here. But in the params, I thought that it was available there. So that needs a little bit investigating and a little bit research. Troubleshoot, that is still the standard thing. And visualize and export. The density map, embroider, PDF export, simulator, stitch plan preview, undo stitch plan preview. So that is available, and I'm missing one more thing I cannot find at the moment. So yeah, the density map, that tells you, shows you in a way the how many stitches are on top of each other, and you can go and change some of these settings. Let me these settings in there, play with it and see if it is of any use for you. I'm missing one thing yet. Where is it now? Because maybe I can select and I'll delete these for a moment, and I'll bring in a design I created quite recently. Click OK, and here we have all the trim commands, and there was an option view. Okay, in the commands, and then we go under the view, and now we can display and hide the object commands, and we can scale the command symbol. So if I go here to the scale, now I can go and scale them up. I go to the live preview. There you can see I can go and scale the commands to whatever size I feel like having on the screen. There I can make them small, and we can go extension, inkstitch, commands, and we can go view, display, and hide object commands. And now you can see all the commands are gone here. And see, the commands are still over here, so if you need to verify certain things, you can also go back in the commands, I would imagine. Inkstitch, commands, view, and click on it again, and we have all all the commands are then visible again. So there's many options, new features, so make yourself comfortable maneuvering through the menu, and create a few little shapes and play with some of these settings before you start going into your big projects. And there's lots of creative things what are possible, and I'll be getting back to you, and have fun creating, and I'll be back here fairly soon too. Okay, thanks for watching, because I think this is about all the new features what are in there. Yeah, the visualize and export, that is kind of the same. Simulator, stitch plan preview. Yeah, I think that is about it. So have fun with it and play with the new features and make yourself comfortable with it. Okay, thanks for watching and see you soon.